Welcome to Dream Business Radio, the place to create your dream business now. Get ready for some inspiration, some encouragement, some proven business building strategies, and a couple of new ideas
that you haven't even thought of.
It's time to leave slow and steady as she goes to the other entrepreneurs, because this program is all about speed and fast results. And now, broadcasting from his floating home somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, the dream business coach himself, Jim Palmer.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach, coming to you from beautiful Chesapeake Bay. Although I think when you hear this interview, we're going to be traveling south to Florida for the fourth time, which is so exciting. And I have a great guest today. Stacy Bahrenfuss is the CEO and founder of Catalyst Group and the creator of the Limitless Realtor Circle, a professional training program for realtors. Stacy started her real estate company at the age of 19. Wow. Sustained her company through the housing crisis of 2007 to 2010. I gotta ask her about that. If you can start back then and survive that, you must have something, you must be doing something right. And she continued to scale her business beyond the 7-figure mark to become one of the top performing real estate teams in the state of Idaho. Stacy brings a unique perspective to the real estate world as her experience is vast. She has been a single agent, she's run a large team, and has even operated as the designated broker for Catalyst Group as a brokerage. She has personally funded development of projects consisting of 11 upper-tier new luxury homes while still operating her real estate team at Catalyst. In her traditionally male-led industry, Stacy has paved the way for other female leaders, leveraging her intuition and over a decade of experience in meditation, personal development, and results coaching. So I'm really excited to interview her, not only from of what she's been able to accomplish from a young age in real estate, but just I love talking with leaders. I love talking with people who have their stuff together. So anyway, Stacy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'm so happy to be here.
And you and I have a mutual friend, my daughter, Jessica. So you guys were in a program together with Allie Brown, who I met years ago when my main thing was being the newsletter guru for print and mail newsletters, and she was the e-zine queen. So Allie and I have known each other a long time. So anyway, it's a small world in the business world, isn't it?
It really is, yes. Yeah, I've heard about you for a while as well. I remember when Jess and Allie made that connection when we first got acquainted. So it's nice to finally meet you in person. Thanks.
Well, so I'm really excited to find out. So you said at the tender age of 19, or maybe I said tender, but at the early age of 19, you started a business. Were you bored? You didn't want to go to college, or you just wanted to really scratch the entrepreneurial itch?
Yes, I definitely had the entrepreneurial itch very early. It started when I was a senior in high school, actually. I was, continuing my senior year and was kidding with some friends and applied as a salesperson at a local resort real estate office. And that office ended up hiring me part-time to be the sales coordinator's assistant. And so I was lucky enough to be exposed to the business world because, I didn't have anyone in my family that was in that realm. And so I was able to be exposed to it. And once I was exposed, I was definitely hooked to tap into that creator side of me and not only create something, but impact lives along the way. So that was how I was introduced to the real estate business. And so I worked as an assistant and saw that, realm for a year, and then went forward with getting my license and what it took to start the business at the age of 19. And really was inspired, to do so just because I looked at things in the mindset of, if I don't decide this now, what then? It's, kind of
right.
Why not now?
If not now, when? I love that question, by the way. But I'm really curious, so you had to really go through, just an amazing proving ground, which was like the kind of the worst 2 to 3 year period in real estate. Other than probably the Great Depression, the 2008, time period. What was that like?
It was crazy. It was so, fascinating, coming into an industry with a new set of eyes and not being in it before. All I knew was if I work a plan, I will succeed. And so I was very committed to that. And if I missed a day, I would make up those numbers and work that plan diligently, and watched many agents that were in the business for more than a decade have to get out of the business because of how hard those times were. And so I was relentless in that focus to sticking to that plan and executing it flawlessly day in and day out.
I'm curious if when you were 19 and decided to start into business, did you have any mentors? Was your mother or father or grandparents? Like, how did you know? I mean, so that's one of my I guess you'd call it a pet peeve today, is that in school, they don't even talk about entrepreneurship. They say, get your degree, go to college, just get your degree, get a job. How did you learn about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I definitely learned by falling, getting up, falling and getting up. So if you fall, just keep getting up is what I say. And so I didn't have anyone in my family that was, in entrepreneurship. I was lucky enough to align with a brokerage at the time where the managing broker, did make himself available to play out different scenarios. And so I would go into his office, and when I would get into a situation, I would play out every possible outcome so that I could prepare myself depending on which way the situation would go, so that I could anticipate. And so, I think I definitely am, I like high risk, that's my personality. So I think that the ability to lean into risk and know that if you fall, you just get back up and you can create again, that gives you freedom to really go for your dreams. And so I allowed myself to, be willing to fail, and then also have the mindset of how can I anticipate situations to be prepared and handle them well.
I'm going to say something. It's somebody listening right now will go, well, Jim, that's rude, but I don't mean to be rude. I mean to be kind of, back in 2001, when I started my first business, I was doing newsletters, and I had a couple clients who were residential real estate brokers, and they only lasted like 4 or 5 months. And what I learned, and I don't know if you want to agree with me or not, but they really had a poverty mindset as far as investing in themselves, developing a list of prospective clients, building a relationship. They thought, man, if I put out a newsletter, I'll probably be selling 6 homes, in a week or something, being slightly silly. But what do you think is kind of what's missing from the mindset of most realtors on how they can grow, a successful business?
You're absolutely right. And I really can't agree with you more on this subject, because realtors are so fear-based, in the fact that it is a commission type of a position, that combined with all of the unknowns, there's a good and bad side with real estate. I like both sides in it, but the great side is you're always growing because nothing is ever the same. And then the bad side is you can't prepare for anything. And I think that can be too much for people. And so mindset and the way realtors handle things absolutely comes from that scarcity mindset. And if they would look at it like a business and structure it like a business of, okay, this is what I'm going to invest in myself, to your point, whether that's a mentor, a coach, someone that's been there, then I can stand on their shoulders. And this is going to be my marketing plan. Actually look at it as if there are those legs of the business like any other business. That part is absolutely missing in real estate. And frankly, in my opinion, is the cause of why real estate agents do have such a bad rap, is because of that point. They're so busy worrying about themselves in fear that they then lose sight of the importance of serving the customer at a high level.
I've always seen that before I was an entrepreneur almost 20 years ago and being in business, I used to observe how some companies promoted top achievers to what I would consider their level of incompetence. One of the age-old examples of that is taking your best salesperson, I guess, and making them a sales manager when they're really great at sales, but they stink at, leading and motivating people. It sounds like you were very successful in that area, right? Leading teams and helping to develop successful brokerages.
Yes, yeah, that it was definitely a bridge I had to cross because I knew how to be a great real estate agent and how to do that in my sleep. And there were other things I had to learn, leadership, checking myself, all of those things that you need to do when you're, mentoring and leading others. I had to learn those things, but within, the level I could, call it my zone of excellence is that salesperson. In that, I always had those opportunities, whether it was with clients or my team, to inspire them, impact them, and, try to help them identify what made them great and focus on that while we focused on their goals, whatever that may be, of achieving their buying and selling goals in real estate.
So I know that you've taken your success in the real estate field and you're coaching and mentoring. I think you mostly focus on women realtors, but you also have the second side of your new business, which is coaching, inspiring, mentoring CEOs and other kind of non-realtor fields, right?
Yes, that's correct. So
real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So I'm curious, which one do you like, one or the other? I mean, are your roots in real estate, or are you finding the more you do this, your roots are in more personal development and, success and achievement?
Yes, my roots have always been in success development and achievement, and primarily what I am so passionate about is helping people see the truth of what's really going on, so that it's not another Band-Aid. They can work with me and it's the last stop, on the train. It's a lasting solution where we can, mix energetic work, looking at the spiritual side, looking at whatever that glass ceiling may be, and helping them break through it permanently instead of, just trying to put a Band-Aid, doing some affirmations. There's so many things out there that don't really address the root cause. And so that's the part I'm so passionate about. And then paving the way, using a plan that's customized to the CEO based on the business or whatever their situation may be, and seeing that come to fruition is definitely what my passion is.
I know, Stacy, when I was preparing for the interview and then with our green room chat before we went live, you were using some words like like you just said, spiritual and integrating mindfulness and meditation and things like that. Is that, I'm just curious now, I'm just an old guy, I'm 62. Is that like a hard sell for some people, or is that like an age thing where people are more accepting? I think entrepreneurs are just head down, hard charge and get it done, but to take time to meditate and things like that. And I'm not poo-pooing it. I actually do some of that, but is that a hard sell, I guess, my question?
It isn't at a certain level, because the tactics and, the positive thinking, great, mindset, that gets you to a certain point. But when you get to the high 6-figure into 7-figure type business and beyond, you start to deal with different issues. And what I've really found is that when you have a clear inner state, you are able to move more quickly, make better decisions, and impact your bottom line because you're coming from that state. And so I have tools that are 3 minutes to 20 minutes in the meditation realm, just because, to your point, I think we're all moving so fast being in the entrepreneurial space that it can be hard to wrap your head around. I'm not going to sit and meditate for an hour. And so I think just normalizing that and showing people that you can take this with you, you can do it for a few minutes, lightens that load of, another thing on my list, and also, removing that hard sell, to your point, so that it can be more of a tool that they use when needed versus another thing to do.
I use an expression sometimes in coaching called stair stepping. Like, instead of just saying, go eat the elephant in the room, to do something small, you get a little bit of what I would call either your encouragement or your courage muscle. And then you go do something bigger and you finally find a way to get there. Do you do that with your clients as well? Or like, if you say, well, do this 30-second, then, maybe in a month they'll go for 3 minutes and then maybe 30 minutes. Is that, or is that not even what's needed in some cases?
That isn't what's needed in some cases because it's a customized solution. What's great about it is my approach is very direct. And so I can see people and the issue and what's going on very quickly. And with that tool, along with knowing what their true desire is in working together and what they want to achieve, I like to go direct. And, some people, that is too much, right? They want that stair step approach, which is maybe something I would use with one person, but not the other. As long as it is completely serving them at the highest level and pushing them so that they can accelerate their results and accelerate all that they're supposed to be, then I'll bring that in. But I definitely, want to be as direct as possible in that.
How do you manage your own positivity? Because I know you got your hands on a lot of different things, 2 coaching programs, your real estate program. I mean, you're busy. So, how do you manage your own positivity and how do you help your team do that as well?
Yes. So I have a morning routine that I do every single morning without fail. And that includes, I call it the triple threat. It's 3-minute meditation, 3 things that I'm grateful for, and focusing on my 3 short-term, long-term goals. And so that keeps me, on track, and then making sure that I am working out 3 to 4 times a week, minimum. That's part of it as well. And then extending that out to my team is something that we do. So making sure they're connected to what their goals are, and that they're looking at situations in the right frame of mind, meaning that they're being aware of their involvement in situations, they're having the right mindset about it so that they're not getting hung up on things that can deplete their energy, and they're focusing on how their inner world is operating. I talk about it like a computer system. If there's a bug in the software, things don't flow or work like they're supposed to. And it's very similar to, what I refer to as the internal state.
So you and I are actually doing this interview. It's kind of near the end of summer 2020. And, so I guess we've been in the pandemic and different way of looking at life and business and everyday existence now for, 6 months or so. What impact has that had? I'm just curious about the real estate. Obviously, for a while, everybody was quarantined, but now I think things are loosening up a little bit. But how has that impacted the positivity? So kind of a twofold question there.
Yes. So it's impacted the real estate, day-to-day market, more so on, the open house front and showing homes front. So we've, had to be creative in that regard, and it's very personal. So some people feel very strongly that they want to handle it one way. And so customizing that in a time like this is really important. So we've adapted in that way. Our market has continued to be very strong. We have less than 2 months supply. So it's a very strong seller's market, and interest rates help with that too. As far as, the mindset of the team and all of that. So when the pandemic hit originally, I'm just going to say from March to April timeframe, there was definitely, a feeling for the team that was more of exhaustion, trying to figure out how to adapt in this new way of being in life. And what we found to be really helpful was, looking at the situation for what it is, because there's the situation that we have, which is the pandemic. And then you have the other side of it, which is there's also so much fear around it. If you're solely focused on it all the time, it can really wear on you. And so we focused on, okay, how can we be educated and very aware of what's going on and not absorb everything to where it's completely running our world and impacting us beyond what it needs to from a mindset perspective. And so that was helpful and helped the team members shift in such a way that each day they could refocus, because it was, day to day that it was could throw you off because it was all so new. And so by being aware that that can happen, they were able to adapt and change, and we got through it and kind of rolled with those punches, if you will, by having that awareness and not taking on the additional fear, because that's twofold right now. The situation, and then, all of the chatter about the situation.
So there are some people who kind of walk the walk and just talk the talk, but I was listening to some information about you, and to give my folks and my listeners an example of walking the walk, you purchased like this development, like you built custom homes. It's like a huge multi-million-dollar deal. Tell us about that, because that's a pretty gutsy move.
Yes, and I'm very happy to talk about this because I'm closing on the last 2 houses this week, and it's been a 2-year project, and so it's a myriad of different feelings, excitement, and all of that. But it was not a planned move. It was an opportunity that fell in my lap in a way. I made a connection with a local contact, and the numbers made sense. And behind that, I want to say, I've worked with a lot of builders and developers over the years, and what happens a lot of times as a real estate agent is someone will reach out, say, hey, I have these 20 acres, I'd like to develop it. And we then go and find the builder, find the financing, and put the puzzle pieces together. And a lot of times give that opportunity over to whomever with the agreement that we can then have the opportunity to list the property. Well, that isn't an equal exchange, as far as the value and opportunity that person gets from connecting them to the opportunity compared to, just what the real estate agent gets by listing it in the future. So I wanted to be able to have all of the tools within my company so that if something crosses our desk, we can act on it, and we may choose to bring someone else in or turn it over to another builder. But to be able to drive that part of the business in such a way so that I can take action on things when appropriate, that was the thought behind it all. So given all of that, this landed in my lap, was able to take action on it. And it was such a journey of inch by inch, it's a cinch. Every single thing about the journey was, I didn't have the answer, but I knew if I kept taking action, I would figure it out. When I made the original offer, I didn't have financing lined up, but I knew that I can figure it out and put the right kind of financing together to be successful. So purchased the ground end of 2018, built the 11 houses from February 2019, completed those October of 2019. And like I said, we're closing on the last 2. And it has been a journey of self-discovery as well, in going to that next level in my life of self-confidence and believing in myself at a whole new level than I had before because of this great challenge. And everyone involved, of course, made it possible. And the homeowners that are in there now are just over the moon, and they've created this great community. So it's been such a pleasure watching all of that come to fruition and seeing the whole process.
Wow. So the final 2 homes are closing this week. That's outstanding. You must be like beside yourself. I hope you go do something huge to celebrate.
Yes. It's funny you say that, just because I was sharing with my husband earlier today. I said, I feel almost like I'm out of my body. Like it's not yet excitement. So it's funny because I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So I've quite honestly never felt like I don't know how I feel, because I'm always so in tune. So it's definitely, amazing. I'm so excited that we're here, and definitely will be celebrating this week.
Well, good for you. What a great pleasure. What a fun interview, Stacy. I'm sure people are going, well, first of all, what's her name and how do I connect with her? So give out your website and how people can connect with you, please.
Yes. So my website is limitlesswithstacyb.com. My last name is Bahrenfuss, and hard to say. And so everyone calls me Stacy B. So that's why it's limitlesswithstacyb.com.
That is brilliant right there. That's some good marketing right there. Stacy, what a fun interview. Thanks so much for sharing your time and your expertise with my audience.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jim. It was my pleasure.
Hey, folks, that wraps up this very special interview with Stacy Bahrenfuss. And remember, that's Stacy B. That's the easy way to remember that. You can connect with me at getjimpalmer.com or dreambizcoaching.com. I'm all over social media, as you know. I think that's it. Until this time next week, another fantastic interview. I'm Captain Jim Palmer. I am the Dream Business Coach. You take good care.
Now it's time to go implement what you've learned. Great ideas are nice, but results only happen through action and implementation. So stay focused. Kick all distractions to the curb.
Sleep a little less if you have to.
And create your dream business now so you too can live your dream lifestyle. To learn about building your dream business, join Jim's free Dream Business Facebook community at dreambizgroup.com. That's dreambizgroup.com. See you next week for more Dream Business Radio.